If you are a bride-to-be who is juggling a million tasks for your wedding and you don't have time to think about something as small as name place cards for your wedding, but you still want your guests to feel really thought of and you want something really personal, what if I told you that in under 30 minutes, you can create your very own design on a name place card for your wedding using Canva for a fraction of the cost? Interested? This tutorial is easy to follow and is 8 simple steps from start to finish. From creating a design and automatically applying it to your entire guest list, printing, cutting, right through to the tips and tricks of setting it up on your wedding table to perfectly match your beautiful wedding theme. I have got you covered from my own experience, and it will save you a ton of time and energy. No techie skills or a paid subscription for Canva is necessary. You will end up with pro level results that you can either print at home or send to your local printers for a fraction of the cost. It's a total budget win. And the best part, you will have that I did it myself glow on your wedding day. I have a template that's available to download. It's linked in the description below. That will help streamline this process for you. However, if you are incredibly pressed for time, I can do this for you. So a couple of useful things that you will find handy: Post-it notes and a pen, either some elastic bands and a couple of paper clips, obviously your name place cards, and then either a new clean plastic ruler or some kind of a credit card. I'm just using an old gift card, but you just want to double check that that edge is clean. That's going to be helping you for the fold. Another thing that you will need is a paper cutter of sorts. I tried to slice my finger by accident with a tin of beans and it was unsuccessful. Cooking is very dangerous, people. I think you should rather stick to wedding planning. So first things first, you need to pop down below into the description and click on the link to access the template. And that will take you through to my Gumroad page, which has all the details. And then you go across to the button that says, I want this. And that will give you a link to all the templates that I speak about. That will take you through to the payment page. You pop in your details and then you click on pay. And that will give you access to the template. So you can see that we've got 2 buttons here. This is where we will design the place card, and then we will come back in a moment and return to the A4 sheet. So first of all, click on this first button here, design my name place card. And then you'll get access to the template, and you come down here to the purple button that says edit template. Click on that. Right, let me just talk you through the structure of this. If you imagine your name place card sat in front of your guest, what they see from the front part of it once it's folded over, that is what we are looking at right here. Okay, so I have just put this text in here to help orientate yourself. You will obviously delete this before you start designing. The page 2 is the back of the place card. So just for ease of creation, I have created this as a whole page for you. This will obviously be deleted before you design it. Let's go back to page 1 and get on with our design. So step 1, we are going to design the front and the back of our name place card. We have decided to go for a very minimalist design for this name place card. I love a beautiful script and the elegance that it brings to a design. So we are going to go really simplistic, choosing a gorgeous script. We make sure that we play with the spacing and the negative space to create a really elegant picture. So we start off by deleting our text. Before beginning the design process, it's a really good idea to quickly scan your guest list and identify the longest name on your guest list. There is nothing worse than creating a design based around a name like Jane, for example, and then inputting 25 names. And when you get to name 26, you come up with Cassandra or something equally as long. And then having to go back through all the previous designs that you've done and change the text size so that everything fits, and probably having to readjust alignment and all of that. Major time waster. Start with the longest name, make sure that everything else fits neatly around that and it still has space to breathe. You will then know what font size that you're going to be using going forward for all your designs. In this tutorial, we are going for a simple, elegant, minimalist, beautiful font that just has the guests' names on. So we're going to start by adding a text box. Let's go for Georgina. I'm going to align this to the right, gives it something interesting in the space that it creates. And you can see that I have placed this just below center. Table numbers on name place cards. To include or not to include. It is very common practice to include the table number on a name place card. You see it in most examples. This is a very personal decision. When I came to the decision of having to decide whether to include them or not, I went through the guest's wedding journey. They were entering into the reception hall where they would immediately go and find their name on the seating chart on table 9. I would then immediately go over to table 9 and have a look for my name. I imagine that if I had my name on a name place card as well as table 9, I feel like that's a bit unnecessary. But for me, less is more. The decision, of course, is up to you. Another element of this is whether or not to include surnames on the card. Do you have first names and last names, or do you just simply have first names? This is largely dependent on the number of people attending your wedding. 100 people or less, I would generally just go with the first name. If you have more than 3 duplicates, that might become a little bit more confusing. Just having the first name on the name place card is much more intimate, and you feel like you have been handpicked as the wedding guest. It's something that is worth considering, and then going with what feels good to you. I personally like it just like this, but for the sake of explaining this tutorial, I'm going to add a table number into this design. Let's copy the text, change the font. I'm going to make this one all capital letters. Make sure that this is also aligned to the right-hand side. And then I'm going to make sure that this lines up using the guides. I'm going to make sure that it lines up exactly with the end of my name. In fact, something that's useful to have on here is making sure that your lines and guides are on this. So let's go to File, Settings, Show Rulers and Guides, File, Settings, Show Print Bleed. This is a useful thing to have on when you are going to be printing any objects further on. If you are on an extremely tight budget, it's a really good idea to create designs using one design color, particularly black. Obviously, black printed on any cardstock is going to come out as your cheapest budget option. We have already created a clever budget hack that we're going to show you in just a minute. But if you spend your time carefully selecting a beautiful font, this can create a really elegant, spacious design that has a luxurious feel. Another way to add a feeling of luxury is the quality of cardstock that you select. That will just whisper quality. And the simplicity and elegance of a good design will speak volumes. Great. Happy with that? Now let's move on to designing the back. The back of the name place card, of course, can be left blank. There are some other things to consider. One of the examples is to have a QR code where guests can upload their favorite pictures of your day. If you would like to do that, go down here to Apps. Under the search Canva apps, you want to type in QR code. Go to the first one, QR code, and then you simply enter the URL of where you want guests to upload their pictures of your wedding to. I would simply go across to my album that I've set up. And this is just one I've set up on Google Photos. Copy the link back to Canva, Control V to paste, and then generate QR code. Could be something as simple as that. Alternatively, you may want to have a wedding monogram where you have your initials or your wedding logo that you've created. This can also easily be done in Canva. If you are wanting to ensure something is centered, just make sure that it is centered to the middle and the center. Okay, so if we just zoom out for a moment so that we can see exactly what we're doing. Just a reminder, page 1 is the front of your name place card. Page 2 is the back of your name place card. All right. Page 1 is going to be variable because the name of every guest is going to be changing as well as the table numbers. So that one is going to be changing from one to the next. Page 2, more often than not, is either blank or it is a design that we have on the back of every single card. I'm going to say Share, Download, Current Page. It is a PNG file, and I'm going to click Download. Let's have a look at page 3. Page 3 has been designed so that it is like your name place card that is laid flat. So that means that the bottom half is the front of your name place card once it's been folded, and the top part is the back of your name place card. You can see that I've included a frame here so that you can drag and drop your PNG that we've just saved to the back here, and that can be replicated across every name place card. That I've also included a guideline through the middle of the card that will help you when you are planning where everything is going to go. This is essentially going to be invisible. It is just a planning tool. It will not be printed. We're going to go across to Uploads, Upload Files, go to your download folders, and that should be back of place card ready to go. Upload, then you drag and drop it. And the beauty of this template is that it has already been switched around, and that will be replicated across every name place card. We're going to go back to page 1 now, and this cannot be used as a PNG in this case because it's going to be variable. So we're going to Control C or duplicate. Move back to page 3, Control V, and now we're going to keep them together and drag them and place them where we want them to go. Once you're happy with the design and how it's looking, we are ready to go on to step 2. So the first part of step 2, we are going to save this as a new file. The reason that I'm doing this is I just want you to safeguard your original design in case you decide to change it for whatever reason. So we're going to go over here to File, make a copy, and you can rename it so that you can distinguish between the files. Now, this is an important step. You're going to delete all the other files that are not your main file. Delete, you either just hit backspace. You now have a one-page design. Now we are ready to automate the designs. Now, you remember that I said that you will also need your guest list at the beginning. So let's have a look at how we're going to make technology work for us. For Search Canva apps, I want you to go over to Bulk Create. That's what we're looking for, Bulk Create. Now you have an option of how you want to enter in your guest list. Canva has this great feature where you're able to link it to some outside platforms. You can also enter the data manually. This is totally up to you. Okay, so how we're going to structure this is we are going to have our names in the first column, and the second column you can change. We're not going to have email addresses. We're going to have tables. If you need to add any more columns, you can do that by clicking that there. And if you need to delete anything, it's right here. Go across to your guest list, select your guest names, Control or Command C to copy, or right click, copy, back to Canva, click in the first column, and then Control V to overwrite that with your information. Back to guest lists, Control or Command C to copy, Control or Command C to paste, and then we're done. You will now see that all of the names have been added, as well as the tables. How quick and simple was that? I can tell you it is a lot simpler than going in and adding all of this yourself. What you are doing now is you are wanting to just go through and scan that you haven't got any interference between the names and the tables, where one has been written over the other. This is a prime example, a large end letter. So you will then click on that, you hold down Shift so that it keeps it on a level line, and you move it across until you're happy. And you can go over to Grid View and check you've got all of your nameplace cards done. Step 3, we're going to download all of these files as a PNG file. So go over to Share, Download. You're going to want this as a PNG file. You can get good quality here. And make sure that all pages are selected. Click Done. Download. Step 4, you're going to go back to Gumroad. You are now going to access your A4 sheet of nameplace cards ready to cut. Go down to Edit Template, and here you will see an A4 design that has included some cutting guides. So we've got some over here. I've done them in a light grey so that they are hardly able to be seen, easily able to cut just inside there, and no one would know that you did it yourself. Canva also has an option for printing that's definitely worth checking out. So now that you've got your A4 template, what you're going to do is you're going to copy this. I always like to have my original design just in case. And then we're going to upload files, locate the file, and you are going to select, you can either click one and then Control or Command A to select all, or you can simply drag your mouse and select them all. Make sure they're all selected, click Upload. Step 5 is to upload your PNG files. It's a good idea to have a guest count on your guest list and then just compare it to make sure that you have that number of templates ready to print. Now, this is the fun part because you get to simply drag and drop your designs into your template. But you want to be absolutely vigilant that you are getting every single one of them. You then duplicate your original page. You've done 6. Carry on from Christopher. Once you are done, you will want to do a final cross-check with how many you have. There are 6 on a page. There are 6 nameplace cards that fit onto one of these templates. So you want to just cross-check that you have the same number of nameplace cards here as on your guest list. And then you are ready to download it. Share. Download. You're going to come down to PDF print. Best for printing. You're going to make sure that all pages are selected. Now, CMYK is a premium feature, and that is listed as best for professional printing. It is, but in this case where we have gone for monochromatic, RGB is going to be absolutely fine if you are working on the free version. Then we're going to click download, and this is a file that you can now print at home, or you can take to your local printers. The beauty of taking a file like this to your local printers is that they are going to be printing it at a professional standard, but they are also just printing a monochromatic black and white, or black and whatever your card is, but they count it as black and white because they're only using black ink. That is a massive money saver for you because you are printing black and white A4 page that is as standard as you get. And by comparison to printing individual nameplate cards, that is going to save you a small fortune. So once you've done that, you are going to now be cutting along the very light grey lines for an elegant and clean cut. So we are just going to use the cutting guides that are very faintly printed on there for you. And we are going to do some cutting along those guidelines. Excuse my bandaged hand, it's not as bad as it looks. I sliced it open on a can of beans. Cooking is extremely dangerous. It's much safer to just plan weddings and get your fiancé to start practicing being a really good husband by helping you with the cooking. So let's get cutting, preferably not fingers. A guillotine can be useful for this, or the old school metal ruler and sharp craft knife and cutting mat. I've got my trusty paper cutter here because I've lent my guillotine to a friend. Right, next we're just going to sort this by tables. When it comes to folding, you are wanting to really carefully align the two edges and the corners. Place your thumbs in the middle and just draw a line out. Make sure your hands are clean. Then use your plastic bit to go either side of it. And then you have your nameplate card that sits nice and carefully with a neat fold through the middle. That'll be from the back. Ready to group them according to numbers. So the idea behind this is that you've got your number clearly seen. This is where you can either wrap it really lightly with an elastic band. You don't want to be too tight that it's pulling on it. So nice and light with an elastic band. Or alternatively, just open up that paper clip a little bit so that it's not so tight. And then really gently, just loosely hook it over there. So you're wanting to do it. You've got the post-it there as an extra layer of protection against creating a bend in your cards. And then you've done either option really loosely. And then you get a neat, clean Tupperware. You pack those all up together, seal it, and you are ready to add that to your wedding box. And yes, you have a wedding box. Start putting that aside now for your table decor and your day of setup. Congratulations, you now have your very own name place card, and you know how you're going to be setting yourself up so that you are wedding day ready. The next thing you're going to be looking at is the logistical movements of your seating plan for your wedding reception. So make sure you check out this video here that talks you through how to design your ideal floor plan, as well as create a seating chart. I'm Gigi from Spotted Hut Design, and we create tutorials in Canva for the budget-savvy bride who appreciates good design without the eye-watering price tag. Make sure you subscribe and follow along so that you don't miss out on any of your urgent to-dos for your wedding.